a fox closes in. It's fast, it's focused, and the opossum has nowhere to go. And then the opossum just falls over, tongue out. Eyes rolled back, body completely limp, every sign of death you could possibly display all at once. The fox sniffs it, nudges it, waits, nothing moves, nothing responds. The fox eventually walks away looking for something worth eating. The second it's gone, the opossum gets up and walks off like nothing happened. That trick just worked. And it has been working without fail for 70 million years. Subscribe to Garden Wildlife. Mind if you're new here, because today we're going deep into exactly how this trick works, why predators keep falling for it, and the one part of it that most people get completely wrong. Chapter 1. It's not acting. It genuinely can't help it. Here's the thing most people get wrong about playing dead. They assume the opossum chooses to do it. Like it sees the predator coming, runs a quick calculation, and decides to fall over as a strategy. Like it's making a conscious decision the way a person might decide to pretend to be asleep. That's not what's happening. Playing dead in opossums is an involuntary response. When the animal is overwhelmed by extreme fear or stress, its nervous system essentially shuts parts of it down. The body goes limp, the heart rate drops, breathing slows to almost nothing. The eyes stop responding normally. It's closer to fainting than acting. The animal isn't in control of it happening. It can't decide to do it, and it can't decide to stop. The body comes back around when it comes back around, which can take anywhere from a few minutes to several hours depending on the situation. The opossum just has to wait. Here's what makes this even more interesting. Young opossums tend to go into this state more easily and stay in it longer. Older, more experienced opossums recover faster and seem to enter the state less readily in situations they've survived before, which suggests that even though the response itself is involuntary, experience shapes how the body manages it over time. So the opossum on the ground with its tongue hanging out isn't performing. It isn't thinking about the predator. It isn't waiting nervously for the right moment to get up. It's in a state of involuntary shutdown, and it will stay there until its body decides the crisis is over. The fact that this works is almost accidental. The body reacts to extreme danger by switching off, and that switch off happens to look exactly like death. Predators leave, and the animal survives. Chapter 2. The full performance. What actually happens? When an opossum plays dead, it doesn't just fall over. What happens is a full, complete, multi-sensory performance that hits almost every signal a predator uses to determine whether prey is alive or dead. The body goes completely limp. The legs splay out at unnatural angles the way a genuinely dead animal's limbs would fall. The mouth opens. The tongue lolls out. The eyes roll back, showing the whites or close partially in a way that looks nothing like sleep. And then there's the smell. This is the part most people don't know about. When an opossum enters this state, glands near its tail release a liquid that smells strongly of decay, not just vaguely unpleasant, actively, specifically like rotting flesh, like something that has been dead for a while. This is crucial, because most predators don't just look at prey to assess whether it's dead. They smell it, and a fresh kill does not smell like rot. Fresh prey smells like blood and warm body, but the opossum, almost immediately after going into its death state, begins to smell like something that died days ago. A predator that approaches, sees the limp, unresponsive body, smells what registers as advanced decomposition, and gets no reaction from poking or nudging it, has every sensory reason to believe this animal is not food. Eating rotting meat carries real risks for most predators, so they leave. The opossum has fooled multiple senses at once, not just sight, smell too, and it did all of it without making a single decision. Chapter 3. Why predators keep falling for it. You might wonder why predators keep falling for this, especially smart ones like foxes that have probably seen it before. The answer is that the trick targets something deep in how predators make decisions, something that isn't easy to override even with experience. Most predators hunt living prey. Their instincts, their hunting skills, everything they've learned is calibrated toward catching something that moves, resists, and reacts. When something stops doing all of those things, the predator's brain faces a problem it isn't well equipped to solve. Dead prey doesn't run. Dead prey doesn't fight back. Dead prey is, at first glance, the easiest meal imaginable. But dead prey can also be dangerous to eat. Rotten meat causes illness. Many predators have learned, through their own biology and experience, to be cautious around anything that smells like decomposition. So when the opossum produces that decay smell on top of the visual display, it's exploiting exactly the same caution that keeps predators safe from eating genuinely dangerous food. The predator is caught between two instincts pulling in opposite directions. The prey looks dead and easy, but it smells like rot and risk. Most predators resolve this conflict by walking away and finding something fresher. Researchers who studied this behavior have noted that even experienced predators that may have encountered this before don't reliably learn to push past it. The decay smell is a strong enough signal that caution tends to win, which is exactly why this trick has kept working for 70 million years. Across countless species of predator, across every kind of environment the opossum has ever lived in. Chapter 4, 70 million years, is a number worth feeling. 70 million years. That number gets used a lot when talking about ancient animals, and it's easy to let it slide past without really feeling it. So let's put it in scale for a second. The dinosaurs went extinct roughly 66 million years ago. The opossum's lineage was already around before that happened. The ancestors of modern opossums lived in a world where dinosaurs were still the dominant creatures on this planet. They survived the mass extinction event that wiped out most life on Earth. They survived it, adapted, and kept going. Humans in our modern form have been on this planet for somewhere around 300,000 years. The opossum lineage is more than 200 times older than that. In all of that time, the playing dead trick has survived. Not because opossums consciously decided to keep using it, but because every individual that had the strongest version of this involuntary response was more likely to survive long enough to have offspring, and those offspring inherited the same trait. Over millions of generations, the response got refined and reinforced until it became what it is today, a complete, multi-sensory death simulation that fools almost everything that tries to eat an opossum. This is what evolution looks like when it has 70 million years to work with. A trick so good, so complete, so consistently effective, that nothing in nature has managed to fully see through it across the entire span of time humans have existed, and then some. The opossum lying in your garden with its tongue hanging out is carrying something ancient. Something that has outlasted almost everything else alive today. Chapter 5, the part that actually wakes it up. Here's the part of this that most people never think to ask about. If the opossum isn't in control of going into the death state, how does it know when to come back out? The answer is that it doesn't decide that either. The nervous system that shut things down gradually restores them. There's no moment where the opossum opens one eye, checks if the predator is gone, decides the coast is clear, and gets up. The recovery happens on its own timeline, driven by internal processes rather than external awareness. But here's where it gets interesting. Researchers studying opossum behavior have found that the length of time an individual stays in the death state varies significantly based on factors including age, the intensity of the original threat, and how many times the animal has been through it before. A young opossum encountering its first serious predator might stay under for an hour or more. An older animal in a lower intensity situation might recover in minutes. There's also evidence that the body's recovery is faster when the immediate environment becomes quieter and calmer. Less noise, less vibration, less movement nearby. Which means the predator walking away actually helps trigger the recovery in a subtle biological sense. The threat leaves, the stress signals reduce, and the system starts coming back online. The opossum doesn't wait for safety. It wakes up into it. By the time it's recovered enough to stand up and walk away, the danger has already passed. The trick didn't just save it once. The mechanics of how it recovers mean the timing tends to work out in its favor almost every single time. Chapter 6. What happens when the trick fails? The trick doesn't always work. Young opossums, animals that are already injured or weak, individuals caught in situations where the predator doesn't give up quickly enough. Sometimes the death display isn't enough. Sometimes a predator waits it out. Sometimes the smell isn't strong enough. Sometimes a predator is hungry enough that it takes the risk anyway. And in those cases, the opossum has very little else to fall back on. It can't run particularly fast. It can't fight effectively. It has teeth and will use them, but it isn't built for fighting the way many of the animals that hunt it are. The death display is really the main thing, the primary defense. The one tool this animal has that has kept its lineage alive for longer than almost any other mammal currently walking the earth. When it works, which it does most of the time, the opossum walks away completely unharmed from an encounter that should have ended it. When it doesn't work, there's not much else to do. That vulnerability is part of what makes the success rate of the trick so remarkable. This animal, with fairly limited physical defenses, has survived in a world full of predators for 70 million years, almost entirely on the strength of one involuntary response. That's not luck. That's one of the most effective survival mechanisms that evolution has ever produced. Chapter 7. What you're actually watching. So the next time you see an opossum lying completely still on the side of a road or in a garden, tongue out, eyes rolled back, looking as dead as anything you've ever seen, it probably isn't dead. It's in the middle of one of the most effective survival performances in the natural world. Its body is running a trick that has outlasted the dinosaurs, that has survived every predator its lineage has ever faced. That has been refined across 70 million years into something so convincing that even smart, experienced hunters walk away from it. The opossum isn't thinking. It isn't waiting nervously. It's just running the program that kept its ancestors alive, the same way they did, the same way their ancestors did, all the way back to a time when the world looked nothing like it does today. Give it time. It'll get up and walk away. It always does. 70 million years of the same trick, still working, still fooling predators, still keeping this quiet, slow, underestimated animal alive in a world that should have eaten it long ago. Tell me in the comments, have you ever seen an opossum playing dead in real life? Did you think it was actually dead? I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.